This is a review of the Inateck 5-port USB 3 PCI Express card, and other reviewers have focused on the installation, done an excellent job of that. The installation is pretty straightforward, so I'm going to focus more on benchmarking performance and the manual. But just a quick look at the card itself, you can see it has a nice bright red PCB, that it's a pretty minimal size. There's your 5 USB 3 ports with a nice black surround. That works well with my case. And then the manual, the installation, CD, and then the power cables. I downloaded the drivers from the Inateck website to get the most up-to-date one, and just clicking through for the installation. Finish, and that looks to be it. Looks like Windows recognizes it. We'll go to Device Manager. Device Manager lists Fresco Logic USB 3 controller. Evidently that's the chip that's on the Inateck card, and everything looks good. So now it's time to bench. Now we're going to look at some of the benchmark results of the Inateck USB 3 PCI Express card as compared to my computer's native USB 3 ports. And you can see here I used HD Tune Pro, and here are the write results and the read results. So here are the Inateck write speeds, and then my computer's native USB 3 ports write speeds, and you can see they're very, very close. The actual variation based on the average write speed was only 0.5% faster with the Inateck device. It's a little bit different here looking at the read speeds. You can see there's a little bit more variance between the write speeds. The average compared, the Inateck device was 6.5% faster. As far as access time, burst rate, CPU usage, they're all fairly equivalent. There's some variance there. Moving on down to Windows 8 GB file copy. This is a real-world benchmark where I just took an 8 GB file and copied it back and forth from the internal hard drive in my computer to the external hard drive hooked up to either USB ports on my computer or the Inateck device. You can read the details here if you like, pause it. But the upshot is, again, very, very similar results. Inateck was 1% faster here, 2% faster here, and 1% slower here. Not much difference, not really significant. And all the other benchmarks, I ran one other real-world test using smaller files, and then several other synthetic benchmarks, ATTO and Crystal Disk, and then HD Tune. They all came up with the same results. They're equivalent, which is really what you want to see. The Inateck device is operating as though it were native USB ports in my computer, and so I'm very satisfied with those results. Next, we're going to take a look at the instruction manual, and this sort of demonstrates the only thing that I had difficulty with or a problem with. The Inateck device functions flawlessly. I've been using it for about 2 weeks now, using it to run backups to external hard drive, lots of file copying, etc., and it's been flawless. The manual, however, is not. So under the package content section, it mentions that it has a STA to 4-pin Molex power converter. Sorry, it's not a converter. It is a connector. And then it also has a 15-pin SATA power cable. That's a Y split, so it has pass-through on it. But the instructions, the hardware installation instructions, don't say anything about what to do with that cable. If it really needs to be connected. One assumes it does since it's in the package, but it's just not there in the instructions. You can pause this, look through these, you can see what I'm saying. It's not mentioned. If you go on down then to the troubleshooting section, toward the end, you'll see where it says a message is displayed starting. That should be stating that not enough power can be given to the connected device. make sure to plug 4-pin power cable on board to provide efficient power to USB devices. But the better way is using device self-power to satisfy it. Okay, first of all, wording, syntax, it's terrible. It just is. And also, this just sounds like, well, golly, guys, if you feel like plugging that in, you might want to if you're going to be charging your phone or something and you get this error message. But really, the better way is just to provide an external power source to your device. Not really clear, and it doesn't really help us know what to do as far as those cables go in terms of installation. On their website, they do have a little more positive statement. It says, to ensure sufficient power supply, it is necessary to connect the card to the power supply of the PC. Okay, a little more positive, but still, it's not in the installation instructions, and it doesn't say emphatically, yes, it needs to be installed. And I emailed Inateck, and they said, yeah, those suckers need to be installed. This concludes my review of the Inateck USB 3 PCI Express card. I loved everything about this card. The installation was simple and straightforward. The drivers installed flawlessly, and its performance was excellent. Very happy with it. The only drawback was, as far as I'm concerned, the things I pointed out in the manual. And from reading some of the other reviews on Amazon, as well as looking at some of the video reviews, there was some confusion about whether or not those power cables really needed to be installed and under what conditions they needed to be installed. According to Inateck themselves, they need to be installed, period, and that should be stated in the manual.